At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, our goal is to help you, your families, and your businesses grow and prosper for generations. We take pride in our community, whether it's volunteering our time or helping individuals, families, and businesses succeed. We provide you with the personal service and attention you deserve. With over 220 years of banking experience, decisions are made locally. We are Council Bluffs people operating at Council Bluffs Bank to help Council Bluffs be a better place to work and live. Council Bluffs Savings Bank. Hometown banking, the way it used to be. Member FDIC.
All right, item number 1 on the agenda is to review the agenda, the study session agenda is to review tonight's agenda, I guess is the appropriate way to say it. Anything on the consent agenda? Anything on the public hearings?
Just 4A, if nobody has objections, if we can waive third on that, that would be.
Applicant request waiver of third.
I had a question on that. I think I understand it to mean that the ingress egress is going to be, when it says it's located next to the 2 existing houses, I assume, well, I've read it to mean it'd be the farthest west on the property possible. There's that little notch, or I'm not sure what to call it. And I wondered if anyone could clarify as to whether it's that or it's to the east of those houses. It seems to me that farther west, the farthest west it can be from the bridge, the better.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of concerns of.
You know, in Bethany, the point of access.
It's Ron's not here, I don't know who else.
Yeah, I'm not sure who could answer.
Not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure, but what you have before you tonight, if you're adopting an ordinance that is recommending or going to follow staff's recommendation, we are recommending that it be R3 with a planned residential overlay. Mm-hmm. So they were going to have to submit, a site plan showing their building, their parking, and access control.
I see.
And I would assume at that time, we will give you options.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think the option, the west one probably does provide further distance to the bridge, but it also goes between 2 residential houses, which from the land use perspective is different. So I think it's something that our office and Public Works are just going to have to hammer out and come forth with a recommendation. So,
Is there, and there, one more question, maybe you can answer on it. The parking lot, I understand some of the areas going to need fill. It said, maybe this is more a question for Greg, the no-rise certification. How, at this time, does it appear like it is feasible to build it there without requiring a rise? How much fill are we talking, generally speaking? I couldn't get it from the communication. I didn't know if, at this stage, they would have anything more concrete. No pun intended. No pun intended, yeah.
Beat me to it.
I just thought about that.
well, all we've had is very rough drawings,
Yeah.
and it's not based upon a survey,
Okay.
not even based upon a topo.
Okay.
I would think that we would advocate very strongly and recommend that they do not put anything in the floodway,
Yeah.
which, to my understanding, would issue the require the requirement of a no-rise certificate. Greg's concurring with me on that.
Okay.
And have them place their parking in a floodplain,
Yeah.
which they can elevate out.
Okay.
Same is true with the building.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the correct term, but I think from an insurance standpoint, it's a LOMA or a LOMA, one of the two, that they can go through that, and
Oh, okay.
they need to do that.
Okay.
So,
I was just curious.
That appeared to be what was being proposed in the plan narrative, so.
I think what they have laid out is a parking lot between the building and Indian Creek. And
Yeah.
obviously, they've got a big hillside, so they should be able to do net grading right there, and not have to haul anything in or out, which is good.
Yeah.
So I think that is their intention. I just don't know that we have the specifics.
Okay. Thank you.
Just if you would, if we get any more feedback or concerns from the folks, most of the driveway issues came not from the people that would be next to the driveways, but further up Sylvan. So I'm really interested to see what feedback we might be able to get from those that are closest to that intersection. Just so when we go through and consider all the options, we kind of have a better idea of who's upset about this or who's willing to work with it.
Other questions on that particular agenda item? Any other questions on the public hearings? Ordinances for first reading.
On 6B, Dick, I appreciate your write-up that you did for us on that. That's helpful, and I think I corresponded with you about Mr. Joel Gabrielson's impressions from the Iowa Department of Revenue, and he was a little bit more cautious than your write-up. But if I didn't give you his number and contact information, I think I did, but if I didn't, I'll take care of that. So, but I take it from your write-up that you would favor the amendment that had both sets of language included.
I think they would both benefit our abilities, and if there are any future challenges.
Okay.
And since I realized I didn't get in the packet, you might not have it in front of you, get some copies.
We got it in an email as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
I printed it out.
Thank you. You already have a copy of
Yeah, so
it? Is that extra?
it was this one.
I think those additional findings are helpful.
Yeah.
It also includes the language that it can't be inconsistent with the ballot, which of course it cannot be.
I think while more is not always better, I think at this point having a little bit more specificity ultimately provides the city a little bit more security and provides more informative basis for people to understand what it is that we've done and why we've done it.
Any other discussion on that item? Any other discussion on ordinances for first or second reading?
Sorry, I guess I jumped the
No,
gun.
you're fine.
there.
You're fine.
Matt, can I address that deer, or the turkey ordinance too?
Betcha.
I talked to Lynn earlier today, and she was wondering if the council would like me to, it would be for the fall of 2015, incorporate a turkey management, urban deer turkey management hunt or program. What happens with DNR is in February of every year, we set up how many licenses. So we couldn't set it up for this fall because we're past that date already. But if you'd like me to begin putting an ordinance together that would incorporate turkey management, we can do that as well. But I need direction from you. Because I don't want to start it on my.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a consensus on that then?
Yeah,
Okay.
just out of curiosity, how much work or burden has gone into deer management? I love that. I love that.
It takes an hour or two, put it that way.
Okay.
Will that run
Sorry.
afoul with your other daily?
Trombone.
Any other questions on the ordinances? How about the resolutions? And then, Dick, we can just do 7D all as one. Try to
Unless the council wants to pull.
break out any one of those out.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
They're all essentially the same.
Yeah, and you may be able to answer my question on this. Were they split out that way just because of the difference in the lots and the building values, or?
Well, I think the main reason is because of the time that once you break ground, so if they were all together in one, you know, you only have, what is it, two years from start to finish, John can probably say this. So if they were all in one, then they would have had to get, like, say, you know, that's again, like Midwest Land has, what, 4 in here, or 5 actually.
Okay.
So you would have to do all 15 homes within 2 years, where this allows them to, they can start one.
Got it.
And then start the next one.
Just
But-
pure curiosity.
Because the issue is, you know, the rules have been changed for this enterprise zone, so now it's 200,000 is the cap. So
Okay.
these ones, we can still get in under the old rules, so that's why you see so many of them on there this round.
Is it 200,000 as a floor or a ceiling? That part I didn't.
That's the highest they can
That's
do,
the
a ceiling,
ceiling. Oh, it's the most it can be worth?
Yeah.
And you get 104, you get the first 140, does
John
that
said
change?
no.
This is the fall into the
The
Right,
old- yeah,
that's what I'm saying,
but
that's
the
why
new-
these are
but
all-
the new one is.
Right, that's why these
Sure.
ones are,
Oh, I did, I knew it had changed, but I didn't know why.
They thought that
yeah.
people were spending it for things that
Giant.
didn't need
Yeah.
the
Is
help.
it okay to read those as one item, or do you want to read them each individually?
I'm fine with one. I test your skills.
I would think, Jody, you could summarize that somehow in that.
Could you just read the first paragraph and
Yeah.
say D1 through
172
10 all
through-
inclusive?
Yeah.
I think the record would be pretty.
So that you
Well,
don't
'cause
have to
you could-
read
yeah.
that whole.
Got it.
I did want to say on 7I, I was really impressed that the developer proposes not only the requisite water retention, but also that you include some open grassland and of course the sidewalks everywhere. I'm very impressed with that. I've talked a lot about that. I'm very happy to see that included in the proposal, the grass area held in common for the homeowners association. So they have, in essence, their own park, some green space for families and kids and so forth. It's very nice to see.
Anything else on the resolutions? Why don't we talk about applications for permits and cancellations, and then if you have something, now we can just jump back to it. Any questions on applications for permits and cancellations?
I know there'd been some talk on, let's see, which one is it? C2,
Yeah.
that Tom Hannafin Rivers Edge Park. Right now, I was trying to think, oh, Larry's not here though. Oh, you are here. Right now, it's open to anybody. When they lease the park out, we can have any vendor. It doesn't have to be, because if the park, can you give us a little rundown? I know we talked about this at our meeting at the MAC Arena Commission too. Dick, what was it? Isn't there something we were supposed to have?
Well, the license, liquor license is on there, and there
Yeah.
was some concern about having Harrah's be the
So,
sole person, essentially having a venue that Harrah's would manage for us, much like they would the arena when there's events such as this. But,
Not for this one, obviously, because it's party, but
Let me see if I can address that. The reservation document that we prepared and the council authorized suggests to promoters that Harrah's is available, experienced, and has done it before. But it allows them, in their doing business, to come up with the alcohol provider that makes the most sense for them. Now, that of course could be changed, but that's the agreement that this promoter came in under. And we did have that conversation about, Harris had been there and set it up and knew how to do it, but it's a business decision, I think, that he made, and that's the direction he's headed.
one of the concerns I had early with this applicant was the number of trained staff to be working the
Yeah.
liquor license aspect of it. So I'd ask him to provide me with a list of who he's going to utilize for those purposes. And it looks like he does have a fairly large number of experienced bartenders going to be taking part in
Thank you. Oh, so he's getting them from other places.
Just a small event.
Yeah, well, they're expecting it to be
16,000?
pretty, I say the numbers are supposed to be pretty large, aren't they?
I think he's hoping for. He's here if you would like to ask him, but yeah.
Oh. No, that was my question, just on that, how we,
And then Don, because various departments have to sign off at staff committee meeting this morning, Don had a concern that he'd like to bring to your attention.
You know, I know we're under probably contract with this one, but in the future, if we rent that out, due to the fact where the stage is set and how the speakers are set up, if we run past 10 p.m., we run into a noise ordinance potential problem and not knowing what kind of music they play or what sets. It might not always be G-rated. That's my concern after 10 o'clock at night. So at least in the future, I think this is set till, what, 10:45? So,
the Stir has that, right?
yeah, but Stir's in a cove and it points the other way. These speakers,
But I thought they quit by 10 though, they don't, I thought Stir quit.
oh,
by-
I don't know.
I-
But they're down low and it kind of bounces, you know. This,
Stir quits at
if the
11.
atmospheric conditions are right, you'll hear it midtown and we might get a lot of complaints on that. So just so you're aware.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions on the permits and cancellations or the resolutions?
I just wanted to, can I say something not on the agenda quickly? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Since Greg, since you're here and you can let the rest of the police department know, Bluffs Downtown had asked me to make sure to publicly thank you guys for helping with the all lit up bike ride on Saturday night. We had several police officers there on bikes, and we had a couple of cruisers kind of making sure everyone got off safely, and from what I heard, it went well, no accidents, and it was a really great turnout for the first event, so I just want to thank the police department for really stepping up and helping with that event. So if you can pass that along to your guys. They did a good job.
All right. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Second?
And actually, Don no longer needs executive session.
Oh,
Oh,
never mind.
Take it back.
Rob, that's good. That was really fast.
See you at 7 o'clock?
Perfect. We could have tonight. That was
And
fast.
I don't think, do we have any questions about the waterworks report? I think,
Oh,
I'll
huh.
come if
I don't know.
I
You?
don't. Do you have any questions about the waterworks? Doug, we don't have any questions. I didn't want to not acknowledge the trustees' report. We don't have any questions.
You
So
can
I
go to the
don't
baseball
think
game
it would
instead.
be necessary for you to.
You should be fine.
If,
We'll see you there. I'm gonna go as soon as it gets over.
Please,
Like,
please.
Be fast.
Let them
Get
get
it
out, Doug. Yeah, let them
sure,
get
I
out.
figured you might want to say something.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sorry I sent them away before you.
Thank you, Nate, for the opportunity to address the council about our annual report. And as you saw in the communication, we're required to provide a copy of the annual report as part of the Code of Iowa. And so that's what we do, but that's not the only reason we do it. We want to put together a report that acknowledges what the waterworks does and everything that goes into operating the waterworks for the public to see. It's our opportunity to tell everybody about what we really do. And I think, you know, the core part of our business, of course, is to provide safe drinking water, you know, and that speaks to number one is public health, and also is fire protection, and that's public safety and economic development, because really we are the lubricant for the industrial operations in our community, and then it's the quality of life. I mean, without good quality drinking water, without having adequate quantities of drinking water, you know, you just don't have a good quality of life. So that's really what our core business is. I hope that you had a chance to see some of the highlights of our report. I'll just step on just a few things mentioned that I think are important. But for example, our top 10 customers, just 10 customers, use 30% of all the water we produce. I think that's really a phenomenal thing. You think just 10 customers use 30% of the water. We have 21,600 accounts, 19,000, almost 800 are residential, and we have nearly 2,000 commercial industrial accounts. Last year we produced nearly 4 billion gallons of water. That's quite a bit of water. And we have outside the city limit customers, they are required to pay 50% on top of what the inside city rates are. And we have the city of Crescent that we supply water, and we also supply water to a regional water system. And then we provide a number of services to the city of Council Bluffs that we'd like to have recognized, and there's a value to that. We provided the city 61 million gallons of water last year, and that had a value of about $166,000, and that was free of charge. And when you think about what is that water? That's for water for City Hall, so we don't charge City Hall for water. Bayless Park would be another example. Where we're seeing the biggest growth is in the beautification projects that the Iowa West Foundation. They're really starting to use a fair amount of water now, and we see that growing. So that's a major amount of water that we are committing to the community for the beautification projects. And then on top of that, we do all the city sewer billing on behalf of the city, and we do all the collections, and then we turn that revenue over to the city, and we do that free of charge also. Last year we collected about almost $5 million on behalf of the city for the sewer operations. You know, we have a lot of the same concerns that you see in the infrastructure that you have here in the city areas of Public Works Department, the wastewater treatment plant. We just completed our new water treatment plant that we're very proud of course, but that incurred debt with that, so we have new debt that we are having to account for and budget for. You know, infrastructure, that's a big issue for us, just as it is with the city with sewer. Water mains are aging, they need to be replaced. We've been very pleased to work with the city on the joint city waterworks project. We think that's a win-win for everybody, so whenever we get the opportunity, we try to replace the water main along with everything else that's going on. But there's a cost that we have to program for that, and then we also have our own needs that we have to work with that are even outside of the joint city waterworks projects that we do. And then there's regulation. Regulation just is not going away, and there's a couple areas that we're working right now with the DNR, trying to find a solution that is a more practical solution to our discharges from our water treatment plant on North 25th Street, and there's a large expense that's going to come with that. So we are very concerned with where that is going. Electrical costs are going up, chemical costs are going up, so we're seeing all the pressures. We're not alone. You know, other water utilities, you know, that are also facing those same things. So we're all in the same boat, but it does mean that the cost of water to provide to our customers are inevitably going to go up. But I still think we're a bargain for what we provide to the community, and somewhere here, if I were to find it, the average customer uses about 56,000 gallons of water annually in Council Bluffs. Now, you know, that's an average number, and you may not fit that particular average category, but that counted, the cost of that was $227 for the whole year. So that came out to $18.98 per month for water. So I think that's a pretty good bargain. Now that doesn't count the sewer, that's also in addition to the water. But I think that we do provide our water service at a pretty good bargain for our customers, and we hope to continue to do that, even with all the challenges that we are faced with. It's always the Board of Trustees' goal to do that, and I have Mike Wallner, who's our Vice Chairman of the Board, with me today, and you know, the Board works very hard to try to meet the challenges of providing safe water and doing it at a reasonable cost. And if you have any questions, I'll sure be happy to answer any questions you have.
Has there been any progress with DNR over the past couple of months, or?
You know, I wish I could say yes. I think that, you know, we have an appeal in process, and it may go all the way. And I don't know what the end result of that is. I don't think anything's going to happen in the near term.
Yeah.
They're working with us, and maybe because they know that there's a lot of people that are watching this, and we need the community support on this. When the time comes, you know, we will be letting the community know what this is all about and where this is going and what the costs are. So
good.
Well, and it's a process and procedure that is commonly used up and down the river by the and allowed by the state of Nebraska, by the state of Missouri.
Yes, and unfortunately, Iowa is singling us out, and which we don't think is fair, and that's why we have a disagreement with them.
Agreed.
I understand that the governor may be campaigning for some office here pretty soon, and he may actually make a stop in Council Bluffs, so perhaps that might be an opportune time.
Maybe we could
Yes,
stop
indeed.
Council Bluffs at 6 o'clock tonight, so.
There you go.
There.
Right?
And occasionally, I think you've said how much the cost per gallon. It's just, what is it, thousandths of a fraction of a penny compared to, not to knock the bottled water folk too much, but it seems like we give a pretty good deal and we deliver it.
Yes.
On
it is
demand.
Yeah, it is a really good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we really are a blessed country, Nate, in fact. And we are blessed here in Council Bluffs because you read the reports out of California.
Yeah.
They're suffering a really serious drought. Now, we have too much water right now, but the reality is that we're a water-rich state. And that puts us in a real good place with economic development because we have the source of supply to support economic development. So in the long term, I think that we have a very bright future.
And the second additional plant, adding that additional capacity, and eventually, the older plant as it ages out of the system, that a great investment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we don't need.
At Council Bluffs Savings Bank, we take pride in our community and volunteering our time to helping individuals, families, and businesses succeed. We are Council Bluffs people operating a Council Bluffs bank to help Council Bluffs be a better place to work and live. Hometown banking, the way it used to be.